This episode of Zoroverse is brought to you in collaboration with Zing India. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone. This episode of Zoroverse was recorded during lockdown restrictions in London, UK, so please excuse the slight adjustment. To offset this, we have a very special guest helping us see off 2020 in style. Our guest today wears a couple of hats. He is a clinical psychologist, a Bollywood actor, and an Instagram and TikTok sensation. Raised in a South Bombay Parsi household, our guest has been enabled to dream big and think positive by hard-working parents, to turn gratitude into a way of life, and to lead with love without exceptions. Joining us for our final episode of 2020, ladies and gentlemen, we are in conversation with Shreyas Porus Pardiwalla.
You're tuned in to Zoroverse.
Well, where to start from? I am your quintessential South Mumbai Parsi boy. I am originally a theatre actor. I ventured into Bollywood in the Bollywood movies at the tender age of 19, 20, and just very, very young for a male actor in the Bollywood industry. And thereafter, I tried my way, I tried maneuvering my way through the entire Bollywood industry. I hate using the word struggling, so I'm going to say I'm aspiring, and I will continue aspiring to be a Bollywood star, and inshallah, one day even Hollywood. Who knows where destiny will take me? Side by side, I ventured into theater direction. I mean, I was always a theater actor. I moved into theater direction and script writing as well. I have performed several plays in and around Mumbai. I am a practicing clinical psychologist. I'm a counselor, and I think that is the main reason why today we are here having this wonderful conversation. I have done my master's in clinical psychology from Mumbai, and currently I'm practicing private counseling, one-on-one sessions, as well as whenever opportunity comes knocking at my door, then even group sessions, or as I was just telling Shaizeen, psychodrama workshops, which is an amalgamation of psychology and drama, both my loves.
Great. Yeah, I'm really interested about that workshop. I'm going to look into it more as well. Many of our viewers will know of you through many ways, but your Instagram is popping. It keeps us all laughing. I messaged you like maybe last year, just saying like I really liked it, and you did message back. You were very sweet, and yeah, it really keeps us all connected wherever we are in the world. It's just lovely to see your skits. Where did the love of acting start from, and this expression of yourself? How did you?
Believe it or not, I started acting when I was only 7 years old. 7 years old, actually before seven, but my first ever professional stage show was when I was 7 years old. I am 28 now, so it has been over 21 years. Uh, I was 7 years old when I did my first ever professional theater performance, professional and commercial. Um, I always had the acting bug biting me. I do not come from a background of actors. In fact, my family is predominantly a family of chartered accountants, predominantly a family of
I
all
thought
CAs.
something like Zoroastrian chartered accountants. That's almost unheard of.
Where do you think all the money has come from, guys? Where did it come from? You know, oh, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. So yes, predominantly a family of chartered accountants, and of course, my father, my aunt, my mother is very, very creative, very, very artistic. My father is very creative. My father has a lovely voice. My aunt has a lovely voice. My aunt was a very great dancer as well. That's my fui. My masi is very, very artistic, just like my mom. So there were all my grandmother herself loves singing and is a very, very good singer. So there were always pockets of art, bursting and spurting in my family, but no one ever actively took it ahead, and never as such when it came to acting. You know, every we had people who were artistically inclined, people who were singers, people who were dancers, but nobody as such a practicing actor. And what do you know? I was the black sheep of the family, and I took acting ahead with the blessings of my parents. But where did it all start from? Let me tell you. I was always an actor in school, but that was just, I guess, every Indian boy or girl's dream who is a Bollywood lover. Because you see, we are in a country where Bollywood runs a lot of our life. The thought has crossed my mind when I was in school days, but I never took it forward. I was always thinking I'll become a doctor, the typical doctor, lawyer, engineer banega mera beta.
Hmm.
So I always thought maybe that, because I knew for a fact that I never understood the C of CA. I mean, it's in my blood, but I don't know where it's lost because it never comes out. I remember taking up commercial applications in school and I was horrible. I remember taking up economics and I was horrible. And I'm like, oh my God, this is not for me. I'm sure I'm adopted. I'm 100% sure I'm adopted. No, but jokes apart, I was never inclined to being a chartered accountant. But so, and I was very interested in science, mind you. Thereafter, when I was doing the 11th and 12th, I was in an international school, the IB, I was doing the IB course. And one of the subjects I was offered, I was offered to choose was theater arts at high level. And I was like, yeah, I'm doing that. Like, yeah, come here.
Grab it.
You're mine. You're mine. And so for me, acting was always comedy, school play, Bollywood. But when I entered into the IB in the 11th, 12th, I also had taken English literature at high level, theater at high level, and because I told you I'm a science lover, biology at high level, which was completely. And so, so because I took English, in English literature, we studied a lot of Shakespearean plays and a lot of other plays as well. And because I was doing theater, I was I had my first ever rendezvous with theater of the world, all the different stages of theater. I witnessed some of the most amazing literature in this field, and I knew for a fact that this is something which I would like to do. I will not say I want to do. I would like to do, but I'm in India, and it's not very easy for a thin goru batka batka, because I'm pretty short. I'm only 5'7". For a thin 5'7" Parsi boy who can barely speak correct Hindi without the anglicized accent to to get a break. And trust me, typical South Bombay Parsi boy, to get a break in Bollywood, I never saw myself, reaching there. um but I love theater and I would like to pursue it as a hobby, so I carried on doing that.
So it was
When it
almost a
came
practical decision, gearing
Yes.
yourself towards clinical psychology. It was like, how do I put food on the table? Or was it also like, because I guess if you talk to a few actors, a lot of them will say they have a keen interest in knowing how the human mind works, and how they can perceive and portray other people as dependent on their own empathy and understanding of people. So, did you almost do clinical psychology as an undercover way to become a better actor and also hedge
um
your bet?
You know what? When I'm writing my autobiography, I'm going to be stealing this line and I'm going to be putting that as my reason, but that's not the real reason, trust me. Uh, I did not. So I was doing the 11th and 12th, and after the 12th, I just knew I loved theater. I just knew I loved theater. I was pathetic in economics. I couldn't cope up with the biology. I was really very bad in the mathematics. I was excellent in theater, and I was reasonably good in English as well. Um, I did not know what I wanted to do. I did not know what I wanted to do. And on the graduation day, a week before the graduation day, the principal of the school sent out a form which we had to all fill up, and we had to mention the college we are planning to go to, or the university we are planning to go to, and the subject we are going to take. I had not applied to any foreign university, even though I was actually looking at University of Portland in the USA. I was looking at University of Alberta in Canada. um, I was looking at various options, but I did not send in my application to any of them. To any of them. In fact, I really did not know what I wanted to do. So my father and graduation day is coming, and everyone has sent in what they want to write, and I just tell my dad, my principal's asking me and my father, what is he doing? Where is he going? My father just said, write Jain College and write psychology. Just do it. We'll see later. I just
Okay.
wrote in the
Wrote.
form. Graduation day came. The principal said, Shreyas Porus graduating from the Bedi Samani International School, going to pursue psychology, a bachelor's in psychology from Jai Hind College.
Mm.
And that was it. And thereafter, I'm like, okay, yay, vacation time to help with
Mhm.
education. And I was really, okay, now what do I do? So my father said, well, I don't know what you can do, but for starters, let's try psychology in Jai
Okay.
Hind. So I did apply. I applied to KC College, I applied to Xavier's, I applied to Jai Hind. I got in all. Actually, I'm really not very. I'm sure I got into Xavier's and on my second list, but I never bothered checking because once I got into Jai Hind, I just seized that opportunity. I took psychology in Jai Hind, and ever since I was very, very young, knee high, I have always been very, very good in empathizing with people. And people call me a smooth talker. People say, you sound so sweet. People say, when we talk to you, we feel good. Um, so I said, if this is I mean, it can be taken negatively as well, that people are just calling me, a very shrewd individual who gets his way around. But no, that's not who I am. So if people are seeing this in me, let me discover this side of me. And I went ahead completely with psychology. Whilst I was studying psychology and giving my board exams, is simultaneously I was doing a lot of theater, a lot of TV commercials. I got my first break in acting in terms of Bollywood movie. It is after my Bollywood film, my first ever Bollywood film release, and I still remember on the day of the premiere, no, sorry, the trailer launch. I remember entering, leaving the escalator, leaving the elevator, and I took a right, and a line of paparazzis,
Mhm.
and I was like, I have arrived. And that is when I remember telling myself, because Yaria was a very, very popular movie. In fact, it's a very famous song. Is there? Aaj blue hai pani, 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 pani,
Oh
pani.
yeah, yeah.
It's a very, very famous
Well,
song sung by Hani
sunny,
Singh.
sunny, 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 sunny.
Yeah. So yeah. So
Right.
I'm one.
I have
Pani,
to
pani,
tell
pani.
you, in like a freak coincidence, I was in India in January 2014 for a mate's wedding. We'd gone to Goa for a bachelor party. We'd gone for the engagement party in Bombay, and then I think Colaba Gyari for the wedding. And through the whole thing, the one thing that was consistent was Yaria was screening everywhere, and it was like the songs were everywhere. So
Yeah,
honestly,
even
it
here,
was
Because
kind of
even
like
over
an
here.
anthem for the year. So fantastic, honestly.
because Yaria was released on 14th January, no, 10th January 2014. 10th Jan 2014 was Yaruya. So, only after my first film released, I told myself, I want to be a practicing actor. I want to be a practicing actor. Bollywood, Hollywood, you say, you know, my love is theater. I truly love theater. But the high a Bollywood movie gives you, or a movie gives you, I mean, a lot of people will disagree with me and they will be like, oh, but it's theater, it's raw, it's true. Tr- Truth lies in how you perceive it. And I can be true on screen, I can be true on stage. The only problem in India and stage is it doesn't pay. It doesn't pay my bills, it doesn't get food on the table. It gives me an inner internal satisfaction, but I will still remain hungry that night. So that is why we have to give ourselves to Bollywood. And hey, Bollywood is has its own pros, its own cons, and as of now, we have to just try and be positive and focus on the good. That is why I truly, truly enjoy acting on screen. But mind you, let me tell you something, Shaizeen. After my first movie, Arya, nothing happened. I did my first movie. I was a star. Every day, not every 2 days, every day for those 2, 3 weeks, I was on the front page of Bombay Times. People were telling my father, "You're Shreyas's father." All my life I've heard you're Porus Pardiwalla's son. I'm Shreyas Porus Pardiwalla. They were telling him, you're Shreyas's father. He comes and tells me, I'm proud of you, my son. When a son hears this from his dad, it's a different feeling. Trust me, I think Danny, you'll understand. It's a different feeling altogether. And I was so happy, but suddenly 10th Jan 2014 goes, 2014, the year goes, and poof, nothing. Not a single TV commercial, not a single. I mean, I did a play after that, but that was it. Nothing else. And I was going door to door, knocking, 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 crying buckets and buckets, because when I checked school groups, people were already had finished. I think there's something called the freshman year of university, and they were in a. I think the second year sophomore. I don't know what they
I
call
think
it
that's
in the
like an
US.
American thing. We just
Yeah,
say
in the
Yeah.
US.
freshers, and then that's it. The
Okay.
first year is freshers, and then you just do your stuff.
So,
Just
and
second year, third
yeah,
year.
and I believe in the second year people all go to Mexico or something like that, because
Okay.
that's a yeah. So I'm seeing people doing all of that, and I'm out here having the best success of my life, traveling by train, people following me saying, "Aap yari actor hai na? Photo, 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 selfie, selfie, selfie," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure, come here," and then after that, nothing. And that's when my father told me, would you like to pursue psychology further? You know, have a plan B, have a plan B, have a plan B. And I was always like, but dad, if I have a plan B, I'll never focus on plan A, which somewhere is true. But then my father was talking from a very practical standpoint. And um, my father said that try. And I was like, okay, I'll try. And you know, it I I felt the earth below my feet breaking. Can
Mm.
you believe it? I'm a nobody, and then suddenly overnight I become a star. And that time Instagram was just coming in. 2013 December I got my Instagram, I remember. So Insta was not that active, but Facebook was everything.
Yeah.
Inboxes, DMs, there are all these reality shows on TV which are very, very popular. We used to be the chief guest, and we used to come and people would be like, oh my god, a Parsi boy, a Parsi boy. I was very proudly wear the Ashok Arohar. I remember my blue t-shirt, I'm wearing the Ashok Arohar, I'm going for an interview. I used to do all of that, and suddenly it's all taken away from me. Or rather, it has its shelf life.
Yeah.
And I mean, Pani Pani goes on. People remember Pani Pani. And I'm like, yeah, okay, but I want to be remembered for something else also now, something a little more. I mean, that's one victory, but I'm only 21, 22. I've just started life. And I had taken a gap year. So in India, see, now in today's day and age, when you take gap years, when the education system has become a little more lenient, when society has become a little more understanding to the youth, it is comparatively, not entirely, comparatively easier. But for me, it was very, very difficult because I've taken a gap year. Oh my God, how will I give an exam again? And I'm already a celebrity. I've come on page 3. I've come on the front page of Bombay Times. I, what do I do? And my father was like, you will start living life before this could happen. And I'm like, okay. And I took the train and I traveled all the way to Chembur, and that's really very far from where I stay. I would have to change 2 trains, mind you, and cross the platform from Dadar and all. And I had got into a college called Vivekananda Education Society, where I did my master's in clinical psychology. And it's divided into 2 years, part one, part two, and each year has 2 terms. The first term I hated. I hated the first term. I performed okay in the exams. I told my dad I want to leave it. I can't take this
Mm.
anymore. To which my father said, hold on, finish the entire year. I said, okay. I finished the
Mm.
entire year. As I was doing part two of SEM, or as I was doing SEM 2 of part one, uh, I get a call from the same T series office, and they're like, hey, we're doing another movie. There's a small cameo role. You want to do it? I'm like, yes, 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 yes. I
Mm.
don't read the contract. Sign, take it. It's after a year and a half. And I take permission from the college and I fly to Canada. I do my shooting. I come back. And then we have to start working in mental hospitals as our practicals. We have to work with patients
Yeah.
and work in asylums. So I was doing that, and I realized that, okay, you have only 1 month left for your second term examinations, which is again a board examination. Give it your best. And I said, okay, God has been kind to me. God gave me what I wanted. Now I practice and focus psychology. So for 1 month, I studied hard and I topped SEM 2. I topped SEM 2. And my father's like, okay, now you can leave your part. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I topped, I'm carrying on. And my dad's like, okay. And I was so excited. I was so excited. And I start really talking to people and I'm enjoying my classmates and I'm laughing and I'm loving going to Chembur. And it's a lot of fun. And I'm like, so what if I would travel by 2 trains? I'm a topper. And that's how I motivated myself. And Shaizeen, you spoke about the comedy videos I'm doing on Instagram. I used to see a lot of comedians do similar comedy videos when I would feel depressed, when I would feel low. Laughter was genuinely my medicine at that point in time.
Yes.
It almost sounds like you were your own first client, just
Oh,
because of just because you had to focus so much on your own mental health. You
absolutely.
Because if when you don't have something, you don't miss it. But once you have it, you want more of it. And you could almost
Absolutely.
trace it by the place that it's supposed to be. And you miss it so much. And it sounds like you had to go through this grief of first of, trying as much as you could. And then almost bargaining in, with the universe, with your family, with yourself, and then coming out the other end feeding a different wolf to the one you wanted to feed, and you
Absolutely.
make the most of it. Like to not want something, to go from not wanting something to then going to achieving a top level result. It just in my head, I'm just thinking how much personal growth and acceptance you would have had to go through, because when people face rejection, sooner or later they start disliking whatever they've done, even if it's not their fault or not. Because we're people, we want to feel like we're in control of what's happened to us, even though we're not a lot of the time. And that's what's just happened here. So it's beautiful, beautiful journey you've just taken us through. And
Thank you.
like to have come out from that. And then did you apply that learning of mental health and self-care and just that inner conversation of kindness to your clients and I guess to
Uh,
your life philosophy?
Absolutely, because um, as I was telling Shaizeen that when I work with my clients, I really pick up the psychology textbooks and I fling them out of the window, metaphorically, of course. But I do so only because, uh, you cannot understand the human mind with words on a page, and you can never, and you should not separate a human. Like, what I feel a lot of therapists do is this: they splice the human being with the human being and his mind, the human being and his heart. No. If you want to splice it for yourself to understand where the person is coming from. But when you are looking and talking to a person, you need to understand. And half the time, anxiety, depression, fear, sadness is because of the inner battle of the mind and the heart.
Yeah.
And if they come to you, you cannot say mind, heart. You have to look at it together. So, with a lot of understanding of psychology, textbook psychology, you have to also understand just how to treat the person as a human being. And Danny, having said that, I must tell you, I got my second movie and I was happy. And anybody else would be like, okay, now he has learned. But no, if learning were that simple, only if learning were that simple, I was a shark who had tasted blood. I wanted more. I wanted more. I was studying on set. I've always gone, even during Yari, I used to always have my textbook, always studying, studying, studying. But I really wanted to act. And then I got my third movie. I came back. I gave the examination. When I gave the examination, um, I again topped. I topped my SEM 4. And I'm like, yes, now psychology over only acting. And I've only done 3 movies and nothing more. And again, it was rejection, 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 rejection. Hindi में मैं बोलता हूँ कि a pagal ashik has not got that badly rejected the way I have got rejected, or any actor gets rejected. And it's during this lockdown phase when I understood that people just need to express and be. And it is this during these 7 months I officially started doing online counseling. And I started off with one client. Today I have over 15, 20 clients. So I would just like to say the reason why we are having this tete-a-tete conversation is purely because we are living in a society where judgment precedes love, judgment precedes respect, regard. Judgment is preceding a simple meeting. And the hard exterior or the comical exterior or the facade, the masks individuals are wearing are actually defense mechanisms just to protect their inner being, because they feel so vulnerable when they express themselves, only because society and people in society start judging. And this is the reason why we are having this conversation: to break this judgment, to break this this misnomer that you cannot express, boys should not cry, girls should completely be covered up. We are here to break all these misnomers. We are here to break all these unreasonable limitations society has kept around us. And that is why so many times we see people doing inhuman activities Why are they doing inhuman activities? They are being inhuman in nature because from the start you haven't allowed them to be human. And what is being human? Being human is the ability to communicate, the ability to express. That is what divides us from animals and plants, right? The fact that we can show love and several other emotions more openly, more convincingly as compared to the beasts. But if you are only going to stop an individual from expressing, being himself or herself, then obviously he's going to bottle the feelings inside and create this hard exterior or any other defense mechanism. Follow Gary Vee on Instagram, and he's a very motivational speaker kind of guy. And he asked somebody something, "Do you want to hate your mother?" And he's like, What? Do you want to hate your mother?" He said, "Of course not. I don't want to hate her." Then follow your dreams, even though it's against her wishes. We call ourselves the most open-minded and broad-minded community. Well, I really feel a lot of our actions deny that.
You're tuned in to Zoroverse.